Okay, we live. We live right now. We live. Yes, it is March 3rd, 2024, Sunday. Um, I got up because the dog got me up. I did my squats. What else did I do today? I got two dogs to not fight each other. and I got a fire going. So that's my morning so far, Sunday. It's always an adventure. No, dude, go away. Sit down. Sit down, dog. Man, they still over here? It's all good. They can do what they want. That's the beauty of audio. It's just, just talking. Nobody sees the crust in people's eyes or the sleep and the anger, the real anger. So I was able to make a cup of coffee too. So this is perfect for the topic today. So let's give you a recap of what has happened this week. I'm cleared for brand registry. They know who I am on Amazon, so they verified my identity. And then hopefully I can go ahead and do a variation or a modification to the two listings tomorrow. I decided to take a break from Amazon for a couple of days. And that's what I've been doing. So, and it's been feeling mostly okay. But yesterday I spent most of the day working on a 5-minute YouTube video. Yes, I do have more respect for people who do YouTube all the time. 5 minutes is literally like 5-6 hours of work. And most of it you don't even use. And then you spend a lot of time in editing. It's one of those things that is still blowing my mind how difficult it is. And right when I was about to go ahead and get started on a new video, it's going to be more so like a video podcast. I kind of got an idea of what I want to do, but I'm trying to more so do it towards the algorithm, right? And ChatGPT putting things in there is giving me basic canned type of topics. So we're going to be using a program called vidIQ. And we're going to see how that works with us with selecting topics that people are looking for. And we can see if we can get ideas from there. That's more so what we're trying to do. Trying to get ideas that I'm wanting or willing to do. And then going from there. And I did play around with the mic on the camera, the big camera. It was a really high ISO. So I think I'm going to turn that down. I got the seating position mostly okay. So things are moving. That's what we got going and all that good stuff. But I think my mic arm is doing pretty good too, which is a good thing, I believe. Because before it was really just pissing me off how it wasn't kind of working. And then I clipped it onto one of those dinner tables. We have a lot of those. And we use those for everything. We just plop them everywhere. So I use it quite a bit to put my coffee props or whatnot on them. So that's that, right? So I do have a good system, I believe now. We will continue to modify it as we keep going. But I will record my audio episodes on another software called Ferrite, which is really good. I can do more modifications to it as I go on. And then I'm using my audio mixer. It's working out okay. No problems whatsoever, really. I just use one or two things on it. Everything else is more so gimmicky. And then what else do I do? Ooh, I can't wait to talk about this coffee. And then I'll take this recording and put it in podcastal. Podcastal was messing up with me yesterday. I had a minute and 40-second clip that I did, and it was really good, but it was too low. And all I use it for, of course, to post my my podcast. But the thing about it was it really wasn't working out for me that well. So it kept bugging and doing this thing. It does that from time to time, especially when you need it. It wasn't working. So when I put my audio into DaVinci Resolve, it was really low. So I had to bump it up from there. It still had noise. But when I did it, of course, a couple of hours later, it sounded a lot better after I did the noise reduction. And that's all I do with Podcastal when it comes to uh, modifying or editing my video, because sometimes it processes it too much. It slows me down. It makes me sound like a drunk. So I'm not going to reprocess those episodes. They are what they are. It's just one of those things where you know that you're going to get better with time. So that's the way I look at it. So that's more so my week. I did try to smoke or cook this Texas Wagyu beef. It was a pot roast type of shoulder, beef shoulder. And I've cooked it many different ways, and it's crap. Okay, it's not crap, but it's one of those things to where if you cook it like a steak, it's too chewy. If you go higher than that, it still gets very it doesn't get tender enough. No matter which way you kind of go about it. I did have it one time to where it worked really well, but for the most part it was just inconsistent. And with the price that it is, it doesn't do anything for me. So I will continue to get my choice grade type of meats and go from there. I did pick up a Thor's hammer, a beef shank. It's huge. So I went ahead and put seasoning. I trimmed it quite a bit, get the silver skin off, trimmed off the fat that I don't want to eat, and seasoned it up on Friday. And now Sunday, I have a fire going. I have one of those offset pits. I actually have 3 pits. I have a Weber Smoky Mountain. I have another S&S grill, a kettle grill. It's like a Weber kettle. Then I have a griddle, and I think that's it. I'm sure if my wife was over here, she'll be like, dude, you have too many things, which is true. So this is, for the most part, the first long cook on the big offset smoker. I cleaned it quite a bit the past couple of weeks to get the grates to actually come clean. And that's been taking a while. So I'm going to spend some more time playing around with that, using different chemicals. But it's ready to rock and roll. So I got a fire going. I'm just building up the coals. And that should take another 45 minutes. So by the time I'm done with this episode, I can go ahead and start cooking that beef shank. And I have a turkey ready to rock and roll too. So I'll get that in there. And then we should be good to go. I don't have to get it on early. Not the turkey, at least. So yeah, I may get it on early anyway, so my wife can take some to her sister. We'll see. But what do we want to talk about coffee-wise today? I'm trying to get better about actually talking about coffee more than giving you an update of the coffee business. I'm going to try to give you something that's more helpful. And so what are we going to be talking about right now? Let's talk about this coffee, for instance. This Kenyan double wash, fermented, whatever it's called. I've been testing it out for the past month and a half or so. And I think I'm about to retire it. I will drink it from time to time, but I think I'm done experimenting with it. It tastes like coffee. And in my case, that's just okay. I think I wrote about it a little bit. I need to write about it some more. And I think I will play around with the graphics that I do have and all that stuff. But the thing about it is that it's not gelling with me. That first 5 days after roast, it was really good. It was tasty. It was exactly what I think I wanted or needed. And a coffee, and a Kenyan coffee that I've had for a very long time, or not that I had for a very long time, that I've craved for a very long time. The last Kenyan that I did have, it was a big bag. It was a $4 per pound bag back in, when was it? 2019, 2019, something like that. And it was interesting. I wouldn't say it was my best Kenyan coffee. It was a dry process natural coffee, which is very rarity for Kenyan. A they usually do a what do they do? They usually do, washed coffees, whatnot. And this one was a dry process. It tasted like Starburst. It smelled like Starburst. It was really a magnificent type of coffee, but it did have its issues, so to speak. It was weird. It changed all the time. It was one of those coffees that was actually a little harder to roast because it's easy to mess it up. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but it was easy to mess up that coffee because that it was on the fine line of greatness, right? Of the way you have to like approach that coffee. So it wasn't my favorite, but it was a decent representation of a Kenyan coffee. The ones that I've had in the past before that were a lot better. So now that I went ahead and ventured out to get this coffee from my purveyor, it's okay. It's coffee. And I don't know if that means anything to you, but to me that's actually okay too, but not for the amount of work that went into making this coffee. You know, they went through a lot of work to process it the way they did, to harvest it the way they did, and to eventually, provide me that coffee to purchase from the importer, right? And the thing about it is it's not really good, especially on the case that on the way that it should be, if that makes any sense. I am always chasing, as a coffee fanatic, a coffee geek, a coffee snob, that coffee, right? I'm always chasing the greatness in coffee. And as I alluded in one of my little things that I wrote up, introduction, is that it's like chasing or trying to find the dodo bird, and it's very disappointing if you ask me. Don't get me wrong, coffee's delicious, and especially now that I have gear to to make it the best way that I can to roast it so many different ways. It's it's eye opening how drastically different the coffee is now, right? It's it's not that good and it's just passable. And I don't want passable coffee. Especially it's okay for me doing this as a hobbyist. When I buy these type of coffees because they don't really go on the website to be sold to people. And I think it'll be lost on them for the most part of them tasting these different things or saying that the coffee tastes weird or different or whatnot. But when I present something, which I'm sure you do too, you have your own standards in whatever you do. You want to give something, present something to people in a way to where it does talk to them, right? So, play around with this. There we go. Right in my face. So yeah, you want to give them something to where it makes sense to them, right? That what you're doing is presenting somebody with the truth and the discovery, the journey that they're going to be going on with this coffee. And yes, their journey is their journey, right? So you can only do so much. You can only control the factors so much, but you want to be able to present them something to where, excuse me, that they can truly, really go on that roller coaster ride of like fantasticness, if that's a word. So yeah, this coffee isn't it. I wonder if it's probably best just as a light roast, and that's what it's seeming that it is. Medium roast is kind of crap. I will try it as espresso, so I will try that probably later today, just to kind of get an idea of what I'm dealing with, and then closing up the this whole thing with this coffee. You know, I may try to roast it one more time as a slow light roast, and then making my conclusions from there. But as it is right now, it's not spectacular. It's not amazing. And the reason why I bring this up again is because there's been coffees in the past 6, 7 years ago, which is kind of shocking and kind of scary that you're trying to chase coffees from the past like that were amazing. And this is when I was like a rookie roaster. So I didn't know anything about roasting, and I would roast this coffee with different profiles, so many different ways, and so many roast degrees and all that good stuff. And it was amazing. I think this was a Siloisi coffee. I tried to find to see if I could find the receipt that I did do on it, but excuse me, it loses. I lose it right now, but it's it was amazing, and a lot of those coffees were amazing. I don't know if it was just me being a novice and learning and trying to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like and what did it for me in that coffee and what brewer to use and what brought out the best in the coffees. And that's more so the situation that I was putting myself in to learn and grow and to love it and all that good stuff, right? But it's lost in me, and I did get another coffee. It's fresh crop, so hopefully that is what it is. I'm not a guy to spend crazy amounts, but I will go crazy about spending. I think for my hobbyist, I would say the hobbyist we'll call this, yeah, we can call it something. do it on a website later on, but we'll call it the hobbyist edition, something like that. I'm not wild, you know? It's almost like I'd rather just stick to, unfortunately, the cheaper coffees that are just okay. They do the same thing. And, you can taste it, drink it, try different ways and move on, which is really more so on my scale a problem in the long run. I wonder if the average consumer will pick up on coffee not being as good as it has been for a very long time. I don't think the roasters will allow that because at the end of the day, they're just trying to sell product as many times as repeatable as possible. So why would they tell a consumer that this coffee isn't as good as it was 10 years ago, even with these different processes? And I think that's part of it. I think the reason why they're doing so many things to manipulate the taste of coffee is because it's not as good as it was before. When you can take a basic processing, either dry, semi-washed, and washed, but when you have double fermented, double wash, you keep washing it, you keep going this way, you massage it, you put it in some acid or some alcohol, and you do all this stuff to it, or what they're doing now. I think it says a lot about the industry and how other people, especially, are seeing that, right? But they can't really tell their people, if that makes sense, right? They can't really tell the consumer because the consumer is the lifeblood of that business, which is crazy, right? Because I'm in that situation too, where I have to tell people that this coffee is fantastic, which it is, right? But if you ask me to compare it against what I tasted in the past, of my honest objectivity about looking at that coffee, it's something that I have to try to be truthful and mindful about what I'm tasting, right? And I'm just really just honest about the situation, and that's the fun part about this. And I will see how I can figure this out. I hope to God that the next coffee is a lot better in the realms of taste and more three-dimensional, so to speak. And what I mean by three-dimensional is that coffee is amazing as a light, medium, and dark roast. That's what I call an amazing coffee. Light, medium, dark roast that you can mostly roast it and with different profiles. That's my ideal cup of tea, and that's extremely hard for a coffee to do that for me. And that's, now that I'm talking it out and reasoning it out to you or about this coffee, is that's what I look for. That I can give this coffee to anybody, no matter what. For the most part, there is some science and reasoning about the approach to roast the coffee, right? But for the most part, it's good no matter what. It's good without me giving them so many different parameters, so many specific parameters in order to make this particular coffee. I hate that. When you're telling somebody, roast it or brew it this way, grind it that way, add this particular ratio to this coffee, go even slower with this coffee. This coffee is a little bit more delicate. I hate that in the coffee because I'm not with that person making that coffee each and every day. They're going to do what they want to do anyway. And if that coffee doesn't really truly live up to what they think I said that this coffee is on the bag, then I'm not trusted, right? I mean, I don't know. That's more so probably me having that hiccup of not feeling that somebody can trust me, even though I'm saying this stuff is on the bag, right? So this is the fastest one right now. See, I'm not even talking about this coffee right now. I'm more than 2/3 done with it. I even backed off the grind setting of this coffee. I made it stronger. So it's not a 1 to 15 ratio. It's more like a 1 to 10, 1 to 11 ratio. And it's not that good. It's really not. This is the fast roast. So the fast roast is showing me more so what it is, right? And now it's coming out a little bit more than what I think it should be. But I mean, it's coming out the way that I think it it should have tasted. It's more citrusy, orange peel, like on the as you get it, and then it dies down. But it still lingers. It still lingers, not in a good type of forgiving type of way, if that makes sense. So yeah, so it's something that it's hard to really understand to grasp, but so yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I think at least have my first topic of comparing high end specialty coffee versus bottom of the barrel specialty coffee, if that makes sense. And then we'll just chit chat from there, kind of like what I did just now. But this is going to be more, this is going to be a video version of it, and we'll see where that goes. And I'll do that probably later today, whatnot, as I'm roasting or smoking that meat out there. I'll take some pictures of it and all that. But yeah, so I did gain 3 new subscribers. I got more views. So I think that, yeah, like I said, the first one's going to be about, the podcast is going to be um about comparing the Brazilian and the Kenyan coffee, and telling people like what I think about it and what I don't like about it and all that good stuff, and going from there and seeing if we're lying to the public about coffee in general. So, but yeah, so that is my spiel. That is more so the thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to try to get back on topic and to give you something that is a relevance, that is helpful. And I hope it is helpful, because that's one of the things that I try to be, is helpful, even though I tend to mostly all the time ramble about nothing. Well, it may be entertaining from time to time to people, but that's what I got going. That's what is up with me. We'll see how this week goes. Hopefully, I can start to think about roasting a big batch of coffee so I can send to Amazon, and so we can see where that goes and all that good stuff. I'm sure they just want to start charging me and all that. So, but other than that, that's what I got going. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Or whenever you do listen to this, hopefully it is helpful. Hopefully I didn't scare you about the state of what I think about coffee, so to speak, a canary in a coal mine. And we will see how we can enjoy coffee, even though it's not as good as it was before, right? Yeah. So there we go. Talk to you later. Bye.